Hello, good evening, all Footy fans out there. You're watching the Footy Forum World Cup Qatar 2022, available and brought to you by Sinar Daily, available on YouTube, on Sinar Daily YouTube, and of course, facebook.com/Sinar Daily. I'm Rizal Hashim, your host, and tonight we'll be discussing, of course, the big match of the day, England versus Iran. But before that, I need to introduce to you our special guest for tonight. On my immediate right is Mr. Amin Fuad, who is the non-executive director for KV Kortrijk, the Belgian club. And on the my extreme right would be Dato' Ong Kim Swee, former FA of Malaysia technical director, who is now pitching his stand in Sabah as the Sabah FC coach. How are you, coach?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you, Rizal.
Thank you for coming to the studio to be with the Footy Forum, despite losing in the semi-finals to JDT, Dato'.
Well, it's a good, like I say, it's a good learning process for us in Sabah, and definitely we will be looking much better squad for the season, for the new season in 2023.
How would you describe Sabah's performance throughout the season?
I can consider it's a good performance where in the first year we managed to finish third, qualified for semi-final in Malaysia Cup and quarter-final of FA Cup. Like I said, but there's still a lot of things that we need to improve, and hopefully we can achieve something next season.
All the best, Dato'.
Thank you.
Encik Amin, apa khabar Encik Amin?
Baik, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
and you're wearing a Swedish jersey.
Yes. I'm not too sure where this jersey. I mean, because it was from my late cousin,
Okay.
who left us about 5-6 years ago. So
Sorry to hear that.
I got this from his mom, which I think it's quite valuable. I think this is from '94. I think no.
94 must be during the era of Martin Dahlin and Thomas
Could
Brolin.
be. It's either '94 or 1990.
Okay. Because Sweden, this interests me because Sweden did not qualify for this year's edition. Okay, Dato', did you watch the opening match and of course the opening ceremony, the opening match between Qatar, the host, and Ecuador?
Yeah, to be honest, of course I do watch not the full match, yeah, but of course I can see there's few things that even like Qatar has been preparing very, very well the past 4 years when they were announced as a host. But when it comes to a big stage, you can see that no matter how good you are, how well you prepared, but when it comes to the real game, definitely the momentum start changing. And in international stage, you can't afford to make mistake, like I said, and that shows yesterday match where I think Ecuador are much better team than what Qatar is.
Did you watch the opening ceremony?
Yes, I did.
What,
I think it's interesting because before the opening ceremony, there has been a lot of controversial issues outside football where, politics, all these human rights coming into all this matter where people said, oh, it shouldn't be mixed with football and everything else. But it shows that, I mean, of course, because I heard that BBC in the UK did not actually broadcast the opening ceremony because they were, again, I feel
they were boycotting the
event, the opening ceremony.
The opening ceremony.
But again, I feel that it's a bit, I would say, hypocrisy because after that you showed the match.
Yeah.
So there's football part, you broadcast the match, but you didn't really want to show what is it all about, the culture and everything else, which is in the opening ceremony.
You know, the West sometimes they have a different standard for different set of segment of population of the people. They have different, Okay, but talking about that, we saw Morgan Freeman, Oscar-winning actor, performing as well during the opening ceremony. It took me by surprise because he was also he was supportive of the US bid when FIFA invited the bid to host this 2022 World Cup. They lost. Morgan Freeman, Bill Clinton at that time, President Barack Obama, You know, they were all behind the idea of USA bidding for this edition. But eventually Qatar got the right. And but you see, despite all the controversies that you were saying just now, you were highlighting, Morgan Freeman took the trouble and really, I mean, maybe he was paid lucratively lah.
Of course.
But he added his valued presence, you know, to the opening ceremony. It was a spectacle. Okay, but back to the game, Dato'. You spoke about Qatar as the host. They were the first ever host to be losing an opening match. You know, perhaps they were under pressure because they have been given, you know, Felix Sanchez, the coach, with DNA, Barca DNA. You know, they were given exposure. They were the Asian champions in 2019. They played their counterparts in South America, Europe. But when it comes to the crunch, the opening match, they fumble. So in a tournament of this magnitude, how do you prepare a team for an opening match? Well, especially when playing in your own backyard.
Every opening game is not an easy game. I've gone through a lot of tournaments, even like home. I still remember when we were hosting the SEA Games 2017. We were playing, I think, Brunei or Laos, so I can't remember. We struggle to find our momentum, like I said. But at the end, you look at the performance, in the world stage like this, even though how well you prepared, but at the end of the day, the quality of your players, and I believe when we talk about quality, is about the league in their home ground. How strong is their league? And you know, I mean, on paper, of course, if you compare the Asia countries of Qatar, Korea, or Japan, and you can see how competitive Japan and Korea league is, and that is where they build up their players, and most of the players are leaving the country to play in a better league. That is where you have all this intensity, this experience how to handle in a big game, and playing against big players also definitely will help the players to improve when they come back to play for their country.
Were you surprised? I mean, kemenangan Ecuador 2-0 tu ke atas Qatar ni. Were you surprised by the outcome?
Being the AFC Asia champions in 2019, but to me that was quite a long time ago, I think. And the past 5 matches Qatar played, I think they won. I think they won 4 or 5 games. But the problem is because the games wasn't against I wouldn't
quality
say
opponents.
Quality opponents. So this is the first test that they had, and I heard they had like 2-3 months training camps in Europe and everything else, and they spent a lot of money for 4 to 8 years. They spend a lot of infrastructure. They bring all the best coaches. They have Aspire Academy as well to support and everything else to bring, like you said, the Barca coach. But like Dato' Ong said, I mean, even though you can spend all those things with money, the quality of the players is so much different. I mean, I think 100% of the players of the Qatar national team, they played in Qatar. They don't play outside of Qatar. So although you hear like people like Xavi came to Qatar and coach in Qatar, but I mean, you can, but it's difficult. It's difficult. I think.
Dato' Ong tadi ada highlighted players from Japan, Korea. You know, they ply their trade in Europe. You know, and you being the one managing Luqman Hakim Shamsuddin in KVK. And we see that the exposure of playing in Europe, you know, in a competitive league, that makes a lot of difference.
It makes a lot of difference. I mean, if you see, masuk sikit lah Japan. If you see Japan, right, I think 80% of the team in the World Cup is everyone play outside. I mean, they play outside of their country. Even we have in KVK, we have 2 Japanese players who is in the first team playing every week, doesn't get selected to play for Japan. That shows the competitiveness of in the squad itself. So I mean, for instance, like Qatar. Yes, in Asia, they probably have their star, Ali Moise,
Moise,
yeah.
Moise, yeah.
But playing in Asia
Yeah.
is totally different when you go on a bigger stage in World Cup.
Datuk, kita selalu struggle bila bertemu dengan pasukan Timur Tengah, pasukan Arab macam Qatar ni. Tapi Qatar pula tak hantar pemain-pemain, tak kirim. Maknanya kebanyakan pemain di Middle East ni tidak beraksi di liga yang mahal. Omar Abdul Rahman UAE pun dia tak berani nak keluar. Bukan tak berani ataupun dapat gaji yang besar. Maybe they are earning so much at home, they wouldn't want to take the trouble to play outside.
Kalau kita bincang pasal kenapa mereka tak nak ke liga yang lebih besar, saya boleh ibaratkan macam pemain-pemain di Malaysia. Kalau kita hantar mereka ke contoh ke KVK liga yang lebih tinggi, tetapi pendapatan mereka tidak seperti mana yang mereka dapat di sini, dan keselesaan di negara sendiri dan di negara luar berbeza. Tetapi kalau kita fikirkan tentang pendedahan pengalaman apa yang akan didapati oleh Luqman untuk masa hadapan, dan tentu akan memberi kelebihan pada mana-mana pemain sekali. Jadi termasuk pemain-pemain Qatar, kita harus tahu kenapa pasukan-pasukan seperti Germany, Italy is not there, but England, Spain, kenapa mereka bermain sebagai satu pasukan yang cukup baik. Apabila kita mempunyai 30 pemain yang berkualiti ataupun 50 pemain di mana apabila kita panggil, bila berlatih, intensiti latihan itu akan bertambah baik. Apabila you bermain dengan pemain-pemain yang baik, corak latihan berbeza. Kalau kita mempunyai gap di mana our first 15 players is our top 15 players, tetapi pemain-pemain lain yang average, kemungkinan daripada situ latihan-latihan tidak akan dapat intensiti yang mana kita perlukan.
Kita tengok tadi ada gambar Anna Valencia pada usia 33 tahun at the age of 33, still scoring at the highest level. And Ecuador coming from the qualifiers, it's not easy to be playing against Argentina, Brazil, Peru in order to qualify. So how do you see their prospect in this World Cup?
I would say they would be one of the dark horse, I think, in the World Cup, because if you look back in the qualifying, they actually finished 4th or 3rd and qualify automatically to the World Cup, and I think it's not easy, like you said just now. You play against Brazil, you play against Argentina, where Qatar in Asia maybe they play with a lesser opponent as well. So but I just feel sometimes Ecuador, although they are quite I would say organized, but I hope they don't over depending on Iner Valencia as well, because for the last 4-5 goals that Ecuador scored in World Cup, he's the scorer.
Yeah, he's the scorer.
So if he is not there, so who is going to take the responsibility?
Sometimes a team needs a talismanic individual, who can deliver the goods during the match. But Datuk tadi sebut mengenai importing our players, and you happen to be managing Luqman. We need more players who has that kind of mindset, who wants to survive, who wants to slug it out overseas. Maybe he'll be earning much more if he stays in the local scene. Playing in the league, maybe he'll be earning maybe 20,000 or 30,000. But in Europe, I don't know. Maybe you would like to share how much is he earning a month?
I cannot share, but like what Ong said, it's not as much as you can
be getting here.
You will get more money here. I would suggest that. Yeah, but I think I agree
so
with
what is the driving force? What drives Luqman to be staying in Europe?
I think one of it, he really wants to be successful, because I think if he wants to come back, he will get. I think a lot of the clubs in Malaysia are waiting for him and one of the club actually contacted me and offered more money than what he received in Belgium. So that is very, I would say, enticing lah. Right?
Which club would that be?
I would say. But he's mental, because it's not easy. I'm telling you, because I just visited him a couple months ago.
Yeah.
It's not easy to survive in another country where a boy who's 19, 20, alone,
Yeah.
alone. I mean, he has his teammates. He
Yeah.
is good with his teammates, but he doesn't have families. Of course,
He doesn't stay with the foster parent?
He did, but he
Family
has
he did?
moved out because he
Okay.
felt that he needs to be more independent.
Yeah.
So, which is good as well. But of course, he has some other Malaysians to accompany him. But the thing is, because I don't know, I think Dato' Ong knows how it works in Malaysia better than me. But I saw some of the training. Those players, like Dato' Ong said, the intensity has to be high. Those players don't give him any chance if he made a mistake. If he made a mistake, people will shout at him. That's the mentality that, if you don't do well,
Whether he's a senior or junior,
No,
they will tegur lah.
yeah. And in all respect, they only respect him as a player, not as a senior or as a junior. So he likes that because he felt that, I don't need to be senior to be respected. It's all
Everyone
equal.
is treated equally and on merit lah.
Yes, on merit. So that's how. And I saw he told me, he said, I felt somehow scared sometimes to make mistake, but that's not how I learn.
He has to make mistakes in order to learn.
Yes.
Okay. Datuk, you're managing a group of players in Sabah FC. While maybe at the same time you wish them to be staying with you, how do you encourage them maybe to test their market outside?
Yeah, that is what I've been, of course, when I go, when I'm getting a club and I come out from FAM, I want to achieve something. But to achieve something, especially in the league, you can't depend only on young players, but at the same time, you need the senior players. So what I do is I blend them, of course, with the young players in Sabah, the Sabah local players. They have to take this advantage, where some of them are only 22, 23. So what they need to do is to learn from what this senior player has gone through. And like I said to all of them, I said, why did Badru Bakhtiar is here? And do you know how many trophies he has won? How many caps he has played for the national team? So you have to learn something from him while he's here. And in future we're going to have better players coming. So this is where your learning process start. And of course, I did tell them, and if you want to play in Europe, but you have to prove yourself first in our local league. If you can't perform in our local league, and it's very, very difficult for us to put you in Europe. And the level and the standard in European league, especially, it doesn't matter, it's Belgium, Slovakia especially, even not a big name, but their standard is very, very high.
Speaking about Slovakia, you took the team Harimau Muda to Slovakia, right? And also the under-16 team to England at one time.
Yeah.
Been to Australia as well.
To Australia, competing in Australian League as well.
Yes. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Like I said just now, we are talking about European, but when we go for NPL League, we will criticize because Liga ni Liga amateur, macam mana kita hantar budak kita. But do you know how aggressive whenever we play against the Australians? That is their mentality, as what Amin was saying in Belgium. Whenever you train or you play, there's no such thing as giving you way your style of playing. They make sure that everybody has to fight, everybody has to be on their mindset and to be ready in any things that happens during the game.
Amin, Lokman cakap apa dekat Belgium? Bahasa apa?
Flemish
ke? French ke?
I think
apa?
the main one is English lah. I think
English,
he improved his English a lot. He's more confident to speak in English. Tapi sebab dia baik dengan French players. He's very close. But now he's close to the Japanese boy.
Okay.
Japanese boy too, I think he's about 23, 21, 22.
So he speaks Japanese?
No. Actually, he is asking that Japanese boy to speak Malay. But he understood a little bit of French because I told him, I said, in this area or network, a lot of them are speaking French.
Yes.
So it's good that if you can understand, but French is not an easy language. But of course, the main other than English is Dutch, basically.
Dutch, eh?
But
Over there.
Yeah, but he communicates well with all his teammates. I think yalah. I mean, Dato' Ong mesti tahu punya because belakang tabir kita tak tahu.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone get criticized. You know, Luqman get criticized, Dato' Ong get criticized. Everyone gets. Tapi Dato' Ong je tahu belakang tabir dia dengan player dia.
Betul.
So sama juga dengan journey Luqman and everything. I believe this season he has done a lot better because satu, because he doesn't have to come back to Malaysia that often. Last season, if you remember, at least 2-3 months dia dekat Malaysia. So every time if he have to go back and he has to get that intensity back with the first team. So dia cerita dekat I, dia kata this is personal lah, tapi I cerita I rasa dia tak kisah. Dia kata, bang, if I injured 1 minggu, I nak catch up balik susah.
Betul.
Itu baru 1 minggu dia cakap. So dia kata kalau I
To regain
ketinggalan
fitness,
banyak apa semua, then it's
there'll be a
hard.
gap.
Yeah, that's where
with these teammates. Yeah.
I'm not giving him excuses for maybe his poor performance
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah.
in with the national team, but
Yeah.
but hopefully he's done better. His mental is better
Yeah.
this season, so hopefully he will do well lah.
One last question before we go for the break. He seems to have a problem in translating his form in Belgium with into the national team. So how maybe the fans here are expecting him to be delivering the goods every time he plays for the national team.
That's where
You
I
know?
said. That's where I said the start and stop to problem. Because every time dia balik, dia travel, lepas tu dia kena start kat sini. Lepas tu dia balik sana, dia kena start balik sana. Actually the club wasn't happy because the club felt that why do you have to go back a lot of the time? Under 23 national team, AFF. World Cup qualifying. I remember last season was horrible traveling in terms of traveling for him. So this season he was able to join the pre-season properly. He of course he doesn't play much with the first team, but he trains with the first team. In the under 21, he's a star boy. For a 20-year-old, can you imagine in Belgian league how many 20-year-old is playing regularly in Belgian league?
Very few.
I would say 1 or 2. There's not much because
In the first team, yeah?
in the first team, even in the squad as well. But of course, we always expect that Luqman wants to play. Like Dato' Ong said, I mean, come on. I mean, Belgian league is a lot.
It's tough.
It's very
quite
tough.
yeah.
It's very tough. So I pity. I think it's a big jump from him when he came like from the Malaysia league to Belgium. Whether it is too early, I give it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll be going for a break, and after this, the Footy Forum will be discussing why is Harry Maguire in Gareth Southgate lineup? A question that we'll need to pose to Dato' Ong Kim Swee. Stay tuned to the Footy Forum World Cup Qatar 2022.
Because of his skills, but if you want to see us discuss more on the upcoming FIFA World Cup, don't forget to tune in sinardaily.my and follow all of our social media platforms to see the latest updates on the upcoming episodes.
The Footy Forum will eliminate the football diary
and eliminate your political.
Okay, see you guys there.
I lead eBay's in India and Southeast Asia. My primary role is to enable SMEs to export to the world. eBay enables SMEs across the world, focusing in India and Southeast Asia, to sell to the world. What we enable is we enable market access to 190 countries and beyond, and to 142 million buyers across the world.
Rizal and Arnaz, I have a question for you guys about the upcoming FIFA World Cup. Who are you guys rooting for? Two teams.
Yes.
How about you?
I want to surprise an African team to win the World Cup.
What team is that?
Ghana or Senegal.
That's very interesting. For me, I'm rooting for Brazil. A part of it is yes, because of his skills. But if you want to see us discuss more on the upcoming FIFA World Cup, don't forget to tune in sinardaily.my and follow all of our social media platforms to see the latest updates on the upcoming episodes.
The Footy Forum will eliminate the football diary
and eliminate your political fatigue.
Okay, see you guys there.
Welcome back. You're watching the Footy Forum World Cup Qatar 2022. And now, the most interesting part. Soon, the kick-off England versus Iran. So with me tonight is Encik Amin Fuad, Non-Executive Director of KV Kotrik, and Datuk Ong Kim Swee, former FA of Malaysia Technical Director, and now Sabah FC coach. Okay, Datuk, where will you be watching England and Iran?
Definitely, I'm going to watch it with you.
Okay.
Rizal, to see how Harry Maguire is going to play.
Yes. Datuk, Harry Maguire, despite not being a first choice at Manchester United, is expected to be in Southgate's lineup tonight. So some people say that it's not on merit, but some people say that it's according to Southgate's philosophy that he trusts certain players in the team to be playing, to be his core. So I'm sure, Dato', as a coach, you have your individual players who you trust to deliver for you on the pitch.
To be honest, Rizal, if you look at his performance with the club and his previous performance with England national team, is totally two different players. Yeah? And probably like what you said, Southgate probably have the trust in him and suits the way that he wants. And you know, sometimes Southgate play with back three and sometimes with back four. So it depends which game that suits Maguire or suits the style that he wants. So I don't think we should compare him with the club and the country. So at least look at him in the first game, in the second game, then judge him or assess him whether it suits the England style or not.
Datuk spoke about Southgate playing either with a three at the back or four at the back, but he's reportedly going to revert to four at the back, with Stones and Maguire in the centre and the heart of the defence. They have not had an ideal preparation leading to the World Cup.
I think that should not be the reason why they said they have not.
You're an England fan, huh?
No, I'm not an England fan. But of course, because everyone watches English Premier League.
Yes.
So sometimes because you know all the players and everyone else.
Yeah.
But I think if you said in terms of preparation, what about other teams as well?
Mm-hmm.
It's not only England; it's other teams as well.
Yeah.
I mean. And again, like Dato' Ong said, like Maguire, right? In terms of the loyalty by Southgate as well. I just want to speak about Maguire. I just feel that Dato' Ong mentioned actually, Maguire has played well for England, but he hasn't been playing well for the club. So it's two totally different things. And Southgate trusts him. Mm-hmm. And this thing called loyal and not loyal and everything else. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, because Southgate built this team not only 1 year. Mm-hmm. He's been building this team for the past 4-5 years, and he believes that Maguire suits to his system, whether it's back three or back two. But then again, who replaces Maguire as well if he doesn't play? Who partners John Stone? Is it Ben White? Do you trust Ben White? Do you trust Cody? Or do you trust Eric Dyer?
On current form, they say maybe Ben White should be given a chance.
Yeah, but again,
Tomori has not been picked.
Yeah, Tomori has not been picked as well. Yeah. Probably Tomori would be the best and ideal. Yeah. But again, you talk about somebody who he thinks that he trusts. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Dato' Ong has that
his group of trusted players.
Trusted players that can to with Sabah and Malaysia as well. So that's what I see.
Southgate has been described as the most successful team manager, England team manager, since Sir Alf Ramsey, who lifted the World Cup in 1966. Because he led England to the semis in the previous edition in Russia, in the final of Euro 2020 last year, and yet he has come under intense criticism. For not getting the desired results and also for picking players like Maguire, which irked the English fans. So Dato', how do you, as a coach, how do you cope with this kind of pressure, external pressure, and then how do you make sure that your teams or your players are not affected by this?
Well, this is always a manager or a coach who call it. Our job is all about result. It's result orientated. Yeah. But of course, throughout the years, if you look at Southgate, he's been any tournament that he participates or any competitions that he participates, there's always a good result coming out from there. And back to their preparation, yeah. If you look at their qualifiers, World Cup qualifiers, they have a very good records where they win 8, not mistaken, and they don't lose a single match, and they score about 37 goals. That is World Cup qualifier. But why in Nation League they have not been doing well the last 4 or 5 games? They don't get any good result. For me, it might be something we will never know. You know, of course, after qualifying for World Cup, I know my core players. And now I have another 4 or 5 games in a very good competition mode where I need to try certain styles, certain player, what can I do? So people might think, oh, we already lost 4 or 5 games, we have no hope. But I believe in losing any games, you will learn something out of it. So I believe that Southgate will do well in this World Cup. And definitely, the fans in England, not only in England, in our country too. Yeah, of course, every time we participate in a tournament, they expect us to be in the final, to be champion. So it's the same thing, like I said, it depends how you want to trust the process.
That means, the poor result in Nations League, they were relegated to League B, yeah? That should not be the benchmark to judge them. This is the tournament that we should be judging them.
Yes, of course. I think they've done well in the qualifying, like Dato' Ong said. Of course, they did badly in Nations League where they didn't win a single game. I think they got relegated as well. But again, people won't people will forget Nations League if they do well in World Cup, because that is where that matters at the end of the day. I mean, of course, Gareth Southgate was criticized because he was being pragmatic, he was being a little bit more defensive just because he has a talented squad. But again, pragmatic wins you game. You saw with Italy when they won Euro recently, and when Italy won the World Cup as well. Even Spain, when you talk about tiki-taka, they were quite organized at the back. So I feel that, in some part of me think that, he has a very talented squad in Foden, in Rashford. I'm sure Dato' Ong, if he managed the England squad, he will be so happy to have all these talented. But people are expecting Southgate to attack. I mean, England to attack more rather than just sit back and not concede, but win games. But at the end of the day, people just remember you winning games.
So, according to reports, England will be parading a very offensive lineup, with very attack-oriented 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 with double pivot, Declan Rice,
and Bellingham,
and Jude Bellingham in the center, and Mason Mount supplying the ammunition for the front three, and especially Harry Kane. Harry Kane is 2 goals short of equaling Wayne Rooney's 53 goals international.
I think he will be a starter, always a starter. I think Harry Kane.
He's the captain.
He's the captain.
He's the captain anyway.
That armband. The rainbow armband. So I think in an England squad, I think you have 4 or 5 players who I think that will always be in Gareth Southgate, and Harry Kane would be the main man to lead England to attack. And I think he would be very happy if Gareth Southgate actually set up to attack, because every time we see England with back 3, we know that actually when defensively they will go back 5. But this time around against Iran, probably he feel that this is a chance for us to actually get more goals and everything, and probably Trent Alexander-Arnold will start as well, probably.
Or Trippier.
Kieran Trippier or Trent.
But otherwise, if Reece James were being fit, he will be
the first choice. Yeah, but I think he really needs to attack, because when the knockout stage, if they qualify, then I think we will see a back 3 England again.
Who do you think will feature in the lineup, in Southgate's lineup?
I would say
I can check now.
You can check now what FIFA. You have access to FIFA lineup.
Dato', what do you think?
Datuk.
Well, I think
Who's the core players? What do you think?
Of course, the core players that has been started regularly. Yeah, that if you look back at the past few games, yeah, where it's very important to start with, even though you are playing against a weaker team. Like I said, the first game of every tournament is always difficult. It won't be easy for any team, even though they're, if even Brazil, if you look at their first game, it's always very, very close.
But who are the players you think you can do that?
I'm going to check, yeah.
Maybe Luke Shaw will be playing on the left.
Yeah, I think the core
Luke
players
Shaw.
would be Luke Shaw. I think
Shaw
he
on
will
the
start.
left.
The goalkeeper would be either Pickford or Pope. Although I actually preferred Ramsdale to play
Okay.
because I think
On what grounds?
he has done well. I think he and Pope actually has done well with Arsenal and Newcastle. I think Maguire will start definitely. In the middle, I think Declan and Jude Bellingham.
Declan Rice.
I think on the right, it's either on the right it's a bit tricky whether you play Trippier. If you want stability, you play Trippier. But if you want all attacking, you play Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then it's either on the right, probably Saka would be a starter, Kane. And it's either on the left, it's a bit difficult, yeah, where you have Sterling, you have Rashford, you have Grealish, or where do you want to put Foden in? That's where
It's either Saka or Foden on the right.
Saka, I think I would put Saka on the right.
Foden is also able to play as an inverted winger, right?
Exactly, but I would put Foden. Just behind Kane.
Just behind Kane.
Kane, yeah. That's what I think. Yeah.
Okay.
4-2-3-1.
It could be,
4-2-3-1,
yeah.
yes.
It could be 4-2-3-1. Yeah.
4-2-3-1, yeah. What do you think of the formation, Datuk?
Formation is just a formation, but when you attack, it's totally different kind of formation. When you come back and defend, like what you said, when you play with back three, when you come back, it's back five. So sometimes when you play with 4-2-3-1, it can be 4-4-2, can be 4-4-1-1. So it is a matter of how you look at the opponent and what kind of strength that you have in your team. It's not a specific things where you have to stick with the formation. No, formation should be ada pilihan. Bukan bermakna formation hanya satu formation sampai bila-bila kita guna. No. You have to adapt to the opponent, what you want to do, when you are losing, when you are winning, every time it keep on changing. It's not the same. It's not like where you stick from the first minute until the last minute. No, it depends.
Playing against Iran, supposedly a much weaker side as opposed to England. Do you think they need to deliver? They are under pressure to deliver. They must win. I mean,
yeah, they must win. I think. I think. No disrespect to Iran. I think they are one of the superpower in Asia. But I think in this group, although if you look at the last World Cup, last edition, they actually gave a good fight in their group where I think they just lost to Spain and they drew and one win. So it's not totally like a very easy game for England, although they must win against Iran. And Iran have some good players as well, where if the Porto striker Mehdi Taremi, and they have Sada Azmoun. But Azmoun is not playing, I'm guessing.
He's suffering an injury.
Yeah. So all shoulders will be, all shoulders will be on Mehdi Taremi. But he has done so well with Porto recently. I think he scored around 60 goals in 109 games recently. So although we have to remember, there's also one player that we might remember, an ex Brighton midfield, Ali Jahanbakhsh, which is playing for Feyenoord right now. So I think you can't underestimate team like this. But of course, I think Gareth Southgate, because you feel that this is the least team that he felt will have a chance to attack Iran. Yeah.
We'll go for a short break. After this, we'll be discussing about Taremi, Azmoun, and also Carlos Queiroz. Do you know that he was supposed to be the national coach for the 1997 World Youth Cup for Malaysia? Stay tuned.
Rizal and Arnaz, I have a question for you guys about the upcoming FIFA World Cup. Who are you guys rooting for?
Brazil or Ghana?
Two teams.
Yes.
How about you?
I want a surprise, an African team to win the World Cup.
What team is that?
Ghana or Senegal.
That's very interesting. For me, I'm rooting for Brazil. A part of it is yes, because of the skills. But if you want to see us discuss more on the upcoming FIFA World Cup, don't forget to tune in sinardaily.my and follow all of our social media platforms to see the latest updates on the upcoming episodes.
The Footy Forum will illuminate your football diary
and eliminate your political fatigue.
Okay, see you guys there.
My name is Vidmay Naini. I lead eBay's business in India and Southeast Asia. My primary role is to enable SMEs to export to the world. eBay enables SMEs across the world, specifically in India and Southeast Asia, to sell to the world. What we enable is we enable market access to 190 countries and beyond, and to 142 million buyers across the world.
Thank you for staying loyal to the Footy Forum World Cup Qatar 2022. With me tonight, Mr. Amin Fuad, Non-Executive Director of KV Kotrik, and Dato' Ong Kim Swee, Sabah FC coach. We were discussing, of course, the England-Iran encounter soon, to be kicked off soon. Now we talk about Queiroz coming back, Dato', 2 months before the World Cup. You know, Iran FA, the federation made that bold move to what they call to hire him ahead of the World Cup.
For me, I don't agree at all. Why are you sacking a coach that takes you to the World Cup 2 months before? And if you think that you know Carlos Queiroz,
yeah.
if you know him well, but did he achieve any success with the team before? To change a coach in 2 months before the big stage like World Cup, I don't think it would be suitable for the players. And of course, when new coach comes in, they have their own philosophy, they have their own style, and you want to adapt to a new style, it will take you a little bit of time. Why are you changing it when you have been doing very well? And change to another style that a question mark whether it's going to bring you success or not.
But he's a beloved figure within the Iranian camp. He has brought the team for more than 100 matches.
I think this is the second or third time.
Third stint, I think. Third stint with Iran.
Yeah. But I think it wouldn't be right, like what Dato' Ong said. I mean, why would you? I mean, the players obviously are comfortable with the previous coach where the coach took him, and although probably Queiroz know the players, but again, it's crazy what happened with Iran.
The players, they were asked political questions during the press conference. Dato', how do you advise your players to be coping with this kind of questions, which may be seen as trying to undermine your preparation?
Well, there's incidents, if I'm not mistaken, where the captain was so mad or so angry with the British
press,
British media.
English media,
yeah. So I love it. For me, I like it because the moment my players is not happy, is angry, you will provoke them to play better. So if I'm in that situation, I will get the journalists to ask more difficult. Yes, yeah, because it brings you, you know that you want to prove something. You are fighting for someone, and you provoke me. I'll show you what we are capable of.
What was the question?
On more on the moral
About the women's
women's right. Okay,
women's
okay,
right,
okay,
not
yeah,
wearing
yeah.
the hijab.
Yeah.
It has become a political issue. So are you saying that Iran might have a chance of creating an upset against England?
No, like I said, definitely it won't be easy for England. The Iranians will definitely show a good character in this game, where they want to show not only the Iran government but the world, that they are fighting their rights for the women, especially in Iran.
The captain you were saying just now, because we showed a picture in the previous segment, it was Ehsan Haj Safi, the left back. And we might be able to see Jahan Bash, you said Jahan Bash, ex-Brighton player, and also ex-Nottingham Forest player, Karim Ansarifat, now playing Omonia Nicosia.
He scored against
Man United.
Man United, yeah, yeah. Again, it's not an easy game for England. They would be all fired up. And I heard once they scored, they wanted to do some sort of celebration to protest against, I can't remember what kind of gesture, but they were doing in other sports, in basketball, they were doing the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Other athletes from
other
Iran,
athletes are doing the same thing.
Yep.
So they are out there to prove some point to all the, probably the media, to the government, even to the national team as well. So, and we have to remember, Iran team, they have at least 13 or 14 players playing in Europe.
Yes.
That's not something to be taken light. I wouldn't say it's the best team, but it's a quality team. Every team who plays in World Cup, you cannot take things lightly. Yeah.
Okay, so the prediction. Is it going to be how big is England going to win the scoreline, or how can Iran cause an upset? Datuk?
Well, I don't think it's going to be an upset, but it's going to be a very tight game, and I believe Iran are capable to score. And based from what the scenario, the current scenario with the players fighting for their rights, and I would think that it's going to be tight. Like I said, they score, but definitely they can't win the game.
Okay. What about you, Amin?
Lain sikit daripada Datuk. Still England win, but I think they will not concede. They wouldn't concede. So I think it's 2-0 kot.
2-0,
Yeah,
comfortable win for the
for
English
England.
lah.
Yeah. But not that big, I think. 2-0. 2-0 is
Low
sufficient.
scoreline.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. I think it's going to be an easy win for England lah.
Easy
Also
win.
maybe 2-0 comfortable win, kira easy lah, Datuk kan? Betul tak? Huh?
We'll see.
So okay, we move on from England Iran with
Yeah.
Senegal versus the Netherlands.
Okay.
Senegal, sayang sekali no Sadio Mane. Last minute injury victim, playing with Bayern. But where do you see the outcome of the match? Netherlands versus Senegal.
I think this is an important match, perlawanan penting, sebab it's because Qatar lost yesterday against Ecuador. So I think these two teams, I think they need to win. They need to win. But I feel it will be tight. Senegal, although they lost Sadio Mane, it's not about. I think Senegal has always not been about individual player. Yeah, it's a big player, Sadio Mane, but they have some good players like the goalkeeper Koulibaly, Mendy, the goalkeeper. Even they have Ismail Sarr, the Watford striker.
Yep.
Even in the middle, I think they have two Premier League proven players in the middle, Idrissa Gueye and also Czech Kouyaté, I think, playing in the English Premier League. So I think they are not pushovers. I wouldn't say they are more complete than Netherlands, but again, I think it will be a tight game between they and Netherlands.
The Dutch, having missed the 2018 edition, is back, and this time with a 71-year-old LVG. It's Louis van Gaal, for his third stint with the team. There he has been singing praises on Virgil van Dijk as the best captain he has ever worked with. And some say that from the European side, they should be the ones to watch, Datuk, the Netherlands.
Well, uh, if we were talking about the team to watch from Europe, I think there is much more better team. Yeah, and lately we don't see any good result coming from Netherlands. Even in Euro, they qualified to what stage? The previous
Early stage, they were knocked out. Yeah.
So I don't see that they will be a main force in this tournament. Yeah, even though they have a very experienced coach, and this coach has been in and out for 3 times. I don't know what is the reason for them to pick him. But looking at the current performance, I believe that of course you can think about them going above the group stage, but I don't think they can go that far.
Okay, Memphis Depay will not be playing, injured. He has been injured since September. Gakpo is expected to be leading the line. What do you think of the Dutch? Datuk says they might not be the best from Europe, but they are quite a well-organized side. And LVG brought the team to the semis in 2014 before losing to Argentina.
Yeah, under LVG, if you know LVG, he's a very organized coach, tactician. Some say it's a boring football that he wants to play, but it's very, I would say, very effective sometimes because it's very precise. But you don't get some players to express a lot of individual skill under LGV, where you have to really listen to his instruction. But because of that, I think in the qualifying, they don't concede a lot of goals. I think they qualified with flying colours. In the Nations League, they have done well as well. I think they have not lost in the Nations League, but again, Nations League is not where you judge that. But they have always been conceding goals in Nations League. Recently, they just won, I think, 1-0 against Poland or against other teams as well, against Belgium. But I think I agree with Dato' Ong. I think they are a good side, an organised side. They have a strong defence, I believe, in Virgil van Dijk and Matthias de Ligt. But the problem is up front, where you have to rely on Tim Jensen and Weghorst, where you don't have, because I heard Cody Gakpo, he doesn't play up front, he plays behind the striker. So where you don't have a quality like probably Memphis Depay, I don't know where would the goal comes from. And you see with LGV, it's always been 3 at the back playing with LGV, and again it's I wouldn't say it's as pragmatic as England, but it's LGV style of
your prediction then. Datuk, siapa menang ni, Datuk? Atau seri?
Seri ni,
Senegal, Netherlands.
ini satu sama ni.
Satu sama,
Yeah.
Satu sama. What about you?
2 sama.
2 sama, Oh, so
Sama
where
lah.
the goals coming from the Netherlands?
Probably
Van Dijk
Van
scoring
Dijk
from
header, probably.
Okay. The last but not least, we'll be talking about United States versus Wales. USA were unbeaten on 2 previous encounters against Wales. That was 2-0. They won 2-0 in 2003 and a scoreless draw in 2020. So what would be the outcome for tonight?
Well,
for early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, for these 2 teams, I mean, both of them also not showing a good performance. But you know, USA has won the last tournament that they compete. What is that?
Gold Cup, is it?
Gold Cup, is it? Not Gold Cup. It's a Gold Cup, but that is the only tournament that they play. And I think the only team that really gives them a good tough fight is Mexico. But like I said, Wales at the same time, you know, they have one key player that that can turn the game into something. So I believe that Wales have better chance against US.
Wales back in the World Cup after 64 years.
Yeah, 64 years. Can you
Wow,
believe that? Can you believe
6
that?
decades.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think,
And Bill is lucky lah that this generation is able to take him to the World Cup.
and because of him, he scored the final goal
Yes,
that
yes,
qualified Wales
In the
to
playoff.
in the playoff. Yes,
yes,
against
yes.
Ukraine, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken. Welsh, I would say, they rely on the players. If you look at the Wales team, it's always based on the English Premier League, Championship League,
Team,
and also some League One or League Two in the
Yes.
English league system.
Yeah.
So, but again, they rely on two players. I believe so. Aaron Ramsey and also Gareth
Who
Bale,
is past his prime,
who is past his prime.
Yeah.
And I believe Gareth Bale also
also past his prime, but he still has
yeah, he has
not been playing
towards
regularly
the end.
in
towards the
in
end,
MLS,
towards
yeah.
the end. And some actually question his motivation because he has always been wanting to play for the Welsh national team in the World Cup in the bigger stage. But again, I think Wales as a team, they have a good first 11, but I don't think they have the squad depth to cope longer.
Okay, USA,
Yeah.
they say they have a golden generation there. So is it going to be a win for the Americans? Or Datuk?
I think advantage will be on Wales because Gareth Bale play in
MLS, yeah.
MLS,
yeah. And definitely he knows and he can get a lot of information about the players and how they play over there. So I think Wales have advantage
What
to
about
beat
you?
US.
I mean,
I think it will be a close game. I think it will be a draw probably. I think.
draw, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So, thank you, Datuk Ong Kim Swee, Sabah FC coach, and also Encik Amin Fuad,
Terima kasih,
non-executive director of KB Kotrik, for having spent your precious time with us in the Footy Forum World Cup Qatar 2022. So stay loyal to our show, the Footy Forum World Cup Qatar 2022 on YouTube, on Sinar Daily YouTube channel, and also facebook.com/Sinar Daily. Stay tuned to all the various social media platforms on Sinar Daily to get to know our schedule and showtime of the Footy Forum. Thank you for staying loyal to us. So enjoy your game, enjoy football.